My lords, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to Transport Fever 2. We are starting the episode and we're just outside of the rather large freight station that serves the four various industries around Calgary at the little industrial park set up just behind us there, as we can see. But before we do get fully into the episode, I'd just like to take a few moments to say to you all thank you very much, because in response to the last Transport Fever 2 episode, where I put out a call to arms, so to speak, about hitting up that 100 subscribers milestone, I just want to say you lovely people responded absolutely brilliantly, and we have absolutely smashed that now up to, I think it was 103 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing, and I just want to thank each and every one of you for that. It really does mean a lot, and it also obviously helps the channel as well. So please accept my thanks. It, like I said, it not only means a lot in terms of helping the channel, but it means a lot on a personal level as well, to know that the content is being, at least somewhat well received. Now going forward, obviously we're going to keep Transport Fever 2 going for as long as we can, but if there's anything else that you'd like to see me start a series on, any other games, that sort of thing, do let me know. I'll be happy to take on board any suggestions for future series, or even ones that can run side by side with Transport Fever 2. As I said, this is probably going to be the mainstay and the linchpin, but I'm absolutely more than happy to explore the possibility of running something else in parallel with this. Just as a, off the top of my head sort of thing, in between Transport Fever 2 recording, I have been playing a lot of RimWorld lately, owing to the release of the latest expansion, the Ideology expansion. So, it could be something like that, or it could be something along the similar veins to Transport Fever 2, such as Railway Empire, anything like that. Yeah, I'll leave it to you guys. Obviously, if you do have any suggestions for future content you'd like to see, leave it in the comments down below, and I'll see what I can do. Now, back to the episode itself then. So, there's a reason we're starting outside Calgary today, and that is we have the goods factory here. Now, we are already shipping steel into this hub here, so one half of this has been taken care of, but we do need to get some plastics down here, because I would like to get this goods factory activated ASAP, because the goods are required in a few cities over here. Obviously you can see here, northwest Calgary as well as southwest Calgary, and then a little further afield we have Black Diamond and High River, all require goods for growth. However, the main reason I want to get the goods up and running is the city of Revelstoke, which we're using as a sort of transport hub in the Rocky Mountains, also requires goods. Now, we did the bricks off camera, as I touched upon in the last episode, but if we can get the goods in here as well, that's obviously going to stimulate a lot of growth in the city of Revelstoke, which is going to increase passenger generation, which is going to increase profits. So that's my thinking there. So in terms of getting plastics into here, obviously we do need plastic. We do have a chemical plant just here. We also have a oil refinery, and we also have a couple of options for oil wells as well. Or we have this oil refinery here at Cochrane as well. So we do have options in terms of generating the oil that this chemical plant will need. So it's just a case of deciding which of the two oil refineries is going to serve us the best. Now, I think, because of the layout of our network, the one at Cochrane is likely going to be the better option. Although saying that, a freight line from this refinery at Cochrane down to here might interfere with our current network quite substantially. So it may end up being better instead to use this one here. Because what we could do there, we have an oil well out by Airdrie, and we also have the one at Cochrane. So running oil down into here would be fairly simple. Getting the refined oil to the chemical plant, that could feasibly be done by road vehicles, because it isn't a great distance for it to run. And then we could also then use road vehicles to transfer the plastic from the chemical plant over to here as well, because while it is a little bit further away, it isn't a huge distance, and a decent amount of trucks would ensure a steady flow of the plastics over to here. So decisions need to be made, and I'll just take a moment or two, and I might put a cut in while I'm just figuring this out, to decide where I can hook this into our existing network without causing as much disruption. Okay, it didn't take me long. What I think I'm going to do is, because we have this fairly large road freight yard here, what we could do is we could have road vehicles ship the oil into this freight yard, and then we'd set up a train line which could obviously utilise this freight station here, and then we could branch off this existing network line and just head straight down towards this refinery. So then we'd have road vehicle to there, train down to here, and then, as I said, we'd have road vehicle, because I think we'd struggle. No, I think we will have a train run from here over to here, because what we could do, we could have a pass-through station in this sort of area, and then we could have a little shunting road service. What if this planned station doesn't quite have the reach to connect to the oil refinery? We could use a little shunting service via trucks just to get the oil off the platform into the refinery and back again, and then the train would continue on down to the plastics factory. I think we'll go with that option. I think that's going to be the most feasible. So over here we have spare platforms. Platform 4 is currently idle, so we could use platform 4 to ship the oil, but what we are going to need, we also have a spare platform here, which is excellent, is a pickup point over here and a few road vehicles to deliver the crude oil to this interchange, where it'll then be transferred over to our train line. So let's make a start on that then. So we're going to need obviously a truck station over here. We only need the one platform because it's only going to be picking up one item and it won't be dropping anything else off. I'm going to go for 30 meters. That way they can pump out as much oil as possible, and it'll be able to fill up a nice large platform while it's waiting to be collected. And we'll put a secondary access point there so it can be a pass-through station so the trucks don't turn around on the platform itself. And then we'll just get this connected in nice and quick. Just a quick and easy connection like that and like that. I'm going to go ahead and say we will need a waypoint there to send our trucks out this way and around this way. And we'll just rename this to Airdrie Oil Field. Do we have a road vehicle depot out here? We do. So we don't need a depot, but we do need to set up the line. So from Airdrie Oil Field, and please use platform 4, I believe that was the empty one. Now we will set a max time of 30 seconds, which is going to be enough to get a full load. And it also means if there's nothing waiting, they're not hanging around for too long. We'll give it a dark grey colour. And we'll just make sure the truck's going to take the route I'd prefer them to take, like so. And then as they come in here, it's going to increase the journey time, but I think I prefer them to come this way around, like that. Yes, that'll work fine. Yes, we're adding to their journey time because they're having to travel all the way down here to come back, but I can live with that. And then we can get the vehicles assigned to this, and we can use the flatbed trucks, as we can see, and I'm gonna go for 20 of them initially. Now we want to decide where we want to put the freight station right about northeast Calgary, and I think if we put it up here, we don't have to do much terrain modification because this large hill here, and if we're lucky, a road connection may be enough to activate a direct connection between the station and the industry, but we'll find out. If it doesn't, it's no problem. as I said, we'll just use a small road shunting service to get the crude oil down here anyway. I think we'll only need one platform, but we'll put this station somewhere like that, because I am mindful of this rather large hill here. We can't really go any further to the left there. So what we'll do now is we'll see if they are close enough to generate an active connection. I don't think it will be, but we shall find out. So we'll have the road there, and then it's going to immediately run off. You don't want to be climbing because you're going to be heading down this rather steep hill. No, so keep on left. In fact, you could even head down a little if you wanted to, because you are going to be heading down this hillside anyway. And then let's see now if we get a connection. Oh god, I didn't realise that industry boundary extended that far. There we go. And we'll connect that into the road network. Not necessarily needed, but we'll do it anyway. Now, are they close enough? No, they're not. So we are going to need a road freight shunting service, but that's okay. But for the time being, we want to focus on getting this connected into the rail system. So from this point, you're going to head straight off. Just try and get that to actually run straight there. There we go. And we'll keep it level. That way we can extend the platform if we need to. And it also makes any future junction work that we may need to do that little bit easier as well. So we'll have a nice straight run. I don't mind about the little bridge, but from here on out we'll allow the contours to change to dictate the height of our track. Now, as we can see, we're about to drop into this little shallow basin here, and then I do believe we climb back up again on the other side. Now, we could just have a straight shot bridge straight over that, but I think the bridge would look quite excessive. So what I'm going to do instead is run our track down a little and stretch it out so the gradient change isn't too steep, and that doesn't look too bad. All I could probably do is taking the edge off a little bit. That's a little better. And that should bring us into the ground level, which it does. And we'll just turn just a little bit because I want to connect in somewhere up here. And now we want to actually start doing the opposite and raising up just a fraction, just to meet this raised, the other side of this shallow basin here. Which, when you get down to the level, it's not that shallow, is it? It's actually quite a drop off there. Okay, there we go. We're back up to the ground level here, and now we can just connect this line into our existing network. What I will do is wait for this train to pass, and I'm going to double track this little stretch here. So anyway, now we have a connection over to here, and we'll keep that single tracked for now, I think. So we can get a line. In fact, no, we can't get the line set up yet, because I'll probably end up using the same train, what drops off here, to then pick up some refined oil and continue on his way around to here. Now again, just determine where we want this station to go, and I am trying to have half a mind for any future expansion we may have, and I think we'll locate it somewhere like... Okay, so I decided I'm going to put it on this little flat top of the hill here. Now this does obviously mean we're not going to have a direct connection to the plastics factory, but that's okay because we can use a road shunting service to connect it and deliver the refined oil down there, so that's not the end of the world. And this will be Southeast Calgary Freight Yard. And again, we'll go for one platform for now, but there will be more added in the future, I have no doubt about that. So we'll have a connection made up now, and we'll start with activating the station like so, with a nice flat connection to the road, and then we can get this connected into the road network like so. Yes, and now we can return to our rail line, and again, just to make sure we have enough flat track to work with if you want to expand the station as well as junction work. We'll run a nice flat section out before we start turning and rising. Because as you can see, our freight yard up here is quite high up compared to our track down here, so we need to get our track to climb rather rapidly because it needs to scale this small hill to be able to connect into the station up here. Right, we need to get rid of that little bit of road there, in fact get rid of all of that. We've not built anything there yet, so we'll have to live with it. And what we'll do is, I think we'll actually flatten out an area like this. We can always blend that out afterwards, especially around the edges. That'll have to do, and I'll just quickly blend the edges out there to make it look a little less obvious. There we go. Now we have a connection over to here. Before we set up the train line, however, we will need to get a connection down to the chemical plant as well. They can never get used to that noise, and it still freaks me out a little bit. Regardless, let's crack on. We are going to need multiple platforms here, so I'm going to offset that back so we've got expansion space in either direction. And just to get the ball rolling, I'll just do a single connection for now, and then I'll sort the rest out later, but I'd like to get this rolling as quick as we can. We don't have a road vehicle depot, so we'll need one of those as well. And we'll put that, I don't know, there. So we'll get this line set up. So from there to, oh, we need a point down here, don't we? Of course we do. We will only need two over this side though, so we can hug this straight into the road like that. Now obviously the reason we need two here is because we're dropping off the refined oil, but we also need to pick up the plastics that get produced as well. There we go, one too many spaces there, as you can see. That's better. So line 2, you're now going to there. This can be dark black. 30 seconds. But you do want to load it full if available. And again, the only thing they could pick up here is refined oil, but I'll go ahead and set this regardless. There we go, and this is refined oil haulage, southeast Calgary. Now obviously for the first couple of journeys, these aren't going to have anything to pick up, but that's okay. So yes, these will run empty for a while until a train arrives, but it does mean everything's ready to go for when the train does start to arrive. So now we can set up this line here. So we are running from Irricana Freight Interchange Platform 4, which is this empty one. Fully loaded if possible, 30 seconds, in fact no, 60 seconds for a train because they have large capacity. And this is shipping oil. And from there you are going to be headed into this first freight yard here. Now at this point in Irricana we do need to tell them exactly what to load, because otherwise there's a danger that other commodities could be loaded onto our platform, such as wheat or anything else that's been handled in this area, so it's a good idea to dictate terms here. Over at Northeast Calgary Freight Yard, we want to load refined oil and unload crude. Full load again if possible with a max stop time of 60 seconds. And then after the freight yard there, you're heading to the second freight yard at Southeast Calgary. And here you're not going to be loading anything, but you will be unloading refined oil. And then obviously it's going to head straight back then to Irricana to pick up a new load of crude oil. So this will be oil haulage, oil freight I should say, Irricana to Calgary. now we can get a train. Could we use this depot here? Would he be able to get over to there? I don't think so, so we may have to use our initial depot back here. Locomotives, we'll go for the Rogers 10-wheeler. I was I was corrected as to it's not a Baldwin 10-wheeler, it is a Rogers 10-wheeler, so thank you for the correction there in the comments, much appreciated. And as pointed out, yes, it even mentions the Casey Jones crash as well. I'd never noticed that before. That's very interesting. So kudos, sir, kudos. Anyway, we need to set this up. We want tank cars. This handles both refined and crude oil, so that's excellent. And we'll have a fairly large train, I think. But we don't want to go too overboard where we're going to have detrimental speeds. So I think 70 capacity, in fact, we'll probably go for 84 capacity. That would be a 12 wagon consist, which is fine. And the speeds aren't that bad. So we'll get one of those. And we'll assign that to the new oil freight line. Unable to find a path to the stop. Okay. Oh, of course, there's no way for you to get onto this track here, is there? No. Right then. What we're going to have to do here... Can I get a quick loop between here and this line over here? Just as an access track? The answer is yes, I can. Okay. However, we are going to need a crossover point on the bridge so we can get onto the correct side of the tracks. Not possible there. Didn't think it would be. It is possible there, so we can put it there. However, we're at the wrong depot now, so unfortunately there's no way to transfer it to a new depot, so we'll have to sell that train and rebuild it again using this depot here, and then it should be able to reach its destination from here. So again, we'll go for the Rogers 10-wheeler and a 12 truck consist, and then you should be able to reach your line. Indeed you can, and you'll just use this as a little connection. We're not going to signal this up or double track it because it's only used as access. It's not going to be a commonly used section of track at all. Now that should have kick-started production across the board. Let's see, shall we? Yes, they're getting ready for shipments. It's now flashing. There's nothing yet, but if we just accelerate time, it should see it soon kick into action, in theory. We have a connection there, so that's right. Obviously, we know we have the connection here. We have the oil freight line set up correctly there. Oh, we have no connection here. That's why there's no production yet. Okay. So we need a quick connection here. Again, we'll set it back from the road just a fraction in case we want to expand it in future. And again, I'm not going to mess about with loops and waypoints for now, just to get it started. We'll do a quick and dirty connection into the road, and then I can address any tidying up off camera between episodes. And we want another one down here, say like there, should do quite nicely. There we go. And this will be fully loaded both ways if possible, because he will be taking crude oil down there, and then he'll be unloading refined oil here, and vice versa here. There we go, and we'll set it to black. Do we have a depot nearby? Not really, so we'll purchase one for up here, and we'll say 10. That should now kickstart production across the board. Just quickly name these two truck stops. Now, yes, as we can see, the oil well has started producing, so our trucks will start picking up the crude oil here. Our train will probably run dry for a couple of trips while things get bedded in, but as soon as they do get bedded in we should be all good. Did I set the wait times correctly here? Let me just verify that. No, I did not. So you only want to wait for 30 seconds. Yes, it will mean you're running empty a few times, but that's fine. I can live with that. And everything's set up correctly over here. Yes. Now, obviously, we don't have a way for the plastics to be taken into the industrial yard over here, but that can be quickly set up. And what we'll do is obviously it'll be picked up here, run out this way, and then from here we'll do it by, as I said, we'll do it by road, I believe. So we'll just have a bridge over the river here, just like so. That keeps the waters open in case we ever want to use some ships down here. And then from here you can go, you are going to have to run through town a little, but that's okay. I don't think that has a connection there, it does not. So what we'll do, because it's not picking anything up over here, we shall just put a unload point down with a loopy loop for our trucks to double back on themselves once they've unloaded. And we can get this connected straight away, why not? We may as well. Now this is a sort of purple colour. I think I'd say it's that one, maybe. We'll just quickly get all this set up as per. There we go. Again, in terms of waypointing it so they're not looping on the platform, I'll sort that out off camera. I just want to get it up and running for the time being. There we go. Now we have full connectivity, and in the not too distant future we should start seeing plastics arriving here, which will see goods starting to be produced at the factory. Now, as you can see, our train is having to run empty for a few journeys, but that's okay. We've already got our first loads of oil on platform here. What sort of rate do we have? 100 a year, and our train's frequency is 14 minutes. I think that should be enough. I think that should not quite balance, but it should mean the train the train won't be running too underloaded, but we can check that later once it's all bedded in. So there we go, we now have plastics being produced, and in the long term, or well, not long term, hopefully the very short term, we'll start having goods being produced, which we then can start shipping over towards, as I said, Revelstoke, to promote some growth in our city over here. Now, I've had to use that goods factory outside Calgary because, to my knowledge, it's the only one on the map. So it does provide that logistical challenge to get the goods over here. Although I do think it's only Revelstoke. Oh no, the city of Chase also requires goods, as does Seymour Arm. And as we can see, Calgary Goods Factory is the only one we have available. So it does pose that little bit of a challenge, which is good. It doesn't, I don't like it to be too simple and straightforward. It's nice when you have to think. And hopefully this should work out quite nicely for us. Now we will want to signal just here where our lines meet, otherwise our train will wait all the way back here at the station before departing if this little junction's too busy. We don't want that. What are we up to? 48. Where is the train? All the way back here. So hopefully he should have almost a full load waiting for him by the time he gets here. As long as he's going to be over, say, 85 to 90% capacity, I think that's more than reasonable. We can always adjust by adding extra trucks onto the shunting service if we need to. But for now, I think we should be okay. What we'll do, I don't want to motor through the date, so I'll just quickly pause it, run at 4 times acceleration for a little while, and while we wait, just do a little bit of train smoothing there where it was annoying me. and we will see what sort of capacity he is going to have awaiting when he arrives back at Irikana. Yes, he will have a full load. There it is, look, he's got to 84, so that's set up quite nicely indeed. So just slow that back down and reset the date. So there we go then. I believe that's this is going to be an appropriate point to end this episode. When we pick it up next time, obviously we want to start shipping the goods over the Rocky Mountains, and then perhaps we'll do some work over on the western side of the map in British Columbia and show that part of Canada a little bit of love and attention. As it stands, it's all been pretty much Alberta, as we can see. So yes, I think it's high time we focus on the other side of the Rockies as well. So all that remains for me to say is thank you very much for watching the episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. As I said at the start of the episode, if there's any suggestions you may have for future series you'd like to see on the channel, let me know. I will consider them all, not a problem. And if you have any comments about the episode or suggestions as to what we can do next, or perhaps some tweaks and improvements that can be made to our existing network, go ahead and let me know as well. So yes, as usual, ladies and gentlemen, you take very good care of yourselves. Ta-ta for now.